Okay, nerds, welcome to another vintage video. Today we've got something a bit different. More Aetherdrift cards are going to get played with today. And we've gone away from the vines and the dredgers, and we're going to play with Monument to Endurance. So, whenever you discard a card, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn from these three modes, draw a card, create a treasure token, each opponent loses 3 life. So when you activate your Bazaar of Baghdad, you get all 3 of those modes, which is quite exciting. We're going to play this in like a Tanglewire Smokestack Welder Stax style list. So we've got Goblin Welders to twiddle all of our artifacts in and out, keep them under a tangle, keep them stacking. Bring in some bullets that we discarded off of our Bazaar of Baghdad, like Ensnaring Bridge, Null Rod, Trinosphere. We can sneak those through with a welder. And then mana-wise, we've got 4 mountains to try and support the welders, tombs, workshops, waste and strips, academy, and 1 city of traitors, plus the fast mana that's available. So proper stacksy stuff today, but we're going to try and weld things in and out. The Bazaar gets offset by the welder, the 3 crucibles, and the 3 monuments. That's going to offset our Bazaars. We're not powdering, we're not golosing, we're very much just, we're not here for a good time, we're here for a long time sort of thing. Post board, I've got 3 metamorphs because I just don't know how we ever beat mono white, so the idea is it will trap them under a bridge and take the initiative. Some worm coils, a lattice for Khan, another bridge, another null rod, needle cage, torpor orb for mono white and Doomsday, and then cages for Oath, a crypt, and a tab. So lots of dredge hate, but I don't really know how to build a shop sideboard. I don't know what I'm scared of. So yeah, this is Goblin Welder Stax with Bazaar of Baghdad and Monument to Endurance. We've got an opponent waiting. We're going to see how it does. I'm not sure how it's going to do. I'm not particularly confident in this deck's ability to close a game because I dropped Golos and everything. But hey ho, we'll go and see. Down to round 1. Here we are, we're picked Fatto 10. We've got a very prison-based hand, so we're going to keep this because just like rolling out spheres and wasting your opponent's usually pretty good. And then we can work out how to win later, which I think is going to be a large part of this. We are on the draw though, which makes triple sphere a lot worse, but opponent doesn't appear to have anything cool to do. So let's cast a Mox Sapphire and see if that gets through. And then we'll play a Mishra's Workshop and cast a Sphere of Resistance. I didn't need to tap the Sapphire right now. Let's just cast a Sphere of Resistance. If this gets countered, we've got another Sphere of Resistance. If it doesn't get countered, then I can't cast my Sphere of Resistance. So that's cool. Next turn we get to play 2 more of those. And then we get to start wastelanding our opponent. And then at some point, we might draw a card with a text box. I can't imagine so though. So they're going to cycle a Lorien Revealed. Lorien Revealed no Lurus. So, and they've got a Tundra, so it's probably some sort of PO build. I think Fatto also usually plays like that sort of thing, a sort of PO style list. So they can now cast their 1-drops. So we'll probably pre-combat wasteland them and then just develop another sphere. Have they got an upkeep ancestral? No. It's a Bazaar of Baghdad. That'll be good later. So I can play 1 sphere and then I can play a 2nd sphere. And then Moxon costs 3 mana. Or I can just waste and then go. Let's try and cast a sphere first of all, I think. See where that gets us. That just gets through. So I think I'm just going to slam the other one. So your spells cost infinite mana. It's 5 mana to Hercules us. And your next 2 lands are dead. It says 1. This can develop a Mox or a Lotus or something. Now we're just going to smack them with the wastes. So our turn again. Crucible's a sickening draw. So let's wasteland them. Kill their Tundra. Now they can't Force of Will. Cast a Crucible of Worlds. Accept concessions from here on out, I guess. So your Waste Crucible locked. And you can't cast spells. So that was cool. Monument, Bazaar, and Welder all coming in clutch there. What are we up against? Like, I think we're up against like a PO strategy. So from my sideboard, I think I'm interested in exactly Null Rod. Am I interested in a needle as well? Maybe, because I can needle Time Vault or something. I've also got the Welders, which can fuck around with Vault Key. What don't I want? I don't think I'm interested in the Worm Coil Engine. I don't think this is the matchup to be coiling worms. It's definitely the matchup to be Null Rodding though, and it's probably not the matchup for a Snaring Bridge. So just Needle and Rod come in here. I don't know what they kept, but what does this do? Turn 1 Trinosphere. On the draw again though. Okay, opponent's mulligan to 6. They've got a Tundra, and they're just passing the turn. So, Crucible of Worlds. Let's just cast all of our jewelry. And then we'll play the Ancient Tomb, and then we'll aim to play around a Spell Pierce here. We might get Mindbreak Trapped or Force of Willed, and I think that's fine. We get Force of Willed. Opponent pitches a Lorien Revealed, but they took a mulligan to 6, so they've now only got 3 cards in hand. We can now resolve our Sphere of Resistance. And they've got another Force of Will pitching Lorien Revealed, and they've got 1 card left in hand. Cool stuff. So all our cards got countered, but we are left with 5 mana in play, and an opponent with 1 card in hand after double forcing the opener. They draw Ponder, which is probably a pretty big game for them. I obviously just want to draw a Wasteland here, that's it. Wasteland or Bazaar, I guess. Not sure how much work a Tangle's doing for us. Seems detrimental at this point. It might be good in a turn or two, but they find a C, so maybe it's actually good now. A Workshop. I mean, I can just play all my cards, right? So let's play a Crucible, play a Workshop, and just roll out the Tangle and lock them down for a few turns and see if we can draw into something. Like, I don't care, because I only tap 3, right? I don't care about losing a mana. I can cast all the cards in my deck. If anything, I probably tap the Workshop, because then I can still cast Karn off the top. Or I can, no, I'll just tap a Mox actually, and I can still cast Karn through all of that. So our opponent over there's got 2 lands and then 1 card in hand. This is their upkeep. They're deciding what to tap with Tangle Wire. Well, they're deciding what Tangle Wire is resolving. Post board, we've got to be really concerned about Hurkyl's Recall. That's why the Spheres and Trinospheres are so important. Hurkyl's Recall can bounce everything and then they can combo off and kill us. So that's probably going to be their like long-term plan, is just to not die. So I want to fade first and then tap. So we lose a counter. We then tap the Wire itself, the Crucible, and then the Jet. Now we can still cast Karn, and we can still cast all of our artifacts. We get a Smokestack, which could probably end the game, because we've got Crucible going. So the first turn of the stack won't matter. We do need to learn how to stack our Smokestack triggers online, though. They've got a Brainstorm. Good to have. Good to have. But they do only have access to instants this turn and next as well. Well, next they might make a land drop this turn, and that'll be very good. But then they'll lose a land, which will be very bad for them. So I think we're gaming, but obviously an upkeep Hurkyl's will have the potential to close it out, sort of thing. I'm all done. Oh no, I'm just lagging out my brains. Okay. Opponent has disconnected. Okay, regretfully, our opponent got stacked so hard their computer broke or something. They never came back. We win the match. Let's go to round 2. Okie dokie then. Round 2, we're up against Bergamo. We are on the play. What have we got? This hand's shite. Yeah, this hand doesn't do anything. We don't have the Bazaar to discard with the Monument. The Tangle doesn't do anything into a player with no permanents. We've got mana, but nowhere to go, so I think we have to mulligan this. Turn 1 Thorn into turn 2 Crucible Strip You. Seems good. I'm just going to drop the Welder, I think. Yeah, I think I need the rest of them. Maybe I don't need the rest of them. Maybe I can just drop the Waste. Turn 1 Pearl City Thorn. No, I need to drop the Welder, don't I? Say Dunzo. So cast a Pearl, cast a City, cast a Thorn. Opponent has Force Negation pitching Sphinx of the Steel Wind. So they're on like a Tinker deck, which I don't love the idea of. They kept 7. So our Null Rods are big draws here. Underground Sea, Mox Sapphire. Merchant Scroll gets Ancestral. Okay. Passes to us. So yeah, Rod would be a cracker, to be honest with you, off the top here. Sphere. That's a good one too. Let's cast that. And then let's Wasteland your... I punted. And let's Wasteland your sea. I forgot about the words that City of Traitor has. Never mind. We'll just top deck a Workshop. Pluto Delta, and then they can fetch immediately an Ancestral. They would probably do that an upkeep by the looks of things. Or maybe on end step so they don't get wasted. And now we are in pain because I screwed up the whole game by not casting the Crucible, but I just wanted to try and lock them out of their Ancestral, so maybe this is still good. They Ancestral, I guess I still just strip your face. Just try and make their life as painful as possible and see if we can draw out of our punts, you know? Now I'm just going to die with a Crucible in hand and 2 strip mines in my graveyard. I pay 1 for a Lotus. Workshop. Top Rope. Mana Crypt. Well, I can cast that. And then any land is now a Crucible. 4 mana. Fuck's going on over there? Oh, Tinker. Tinker for house. No, Khan the Great Creator. All my permanents are crap. Okay, that's a problem. Oh, and all my permanents are dead. Wow. So now I just die to my own Mana Crypt. You'll go. There I was wanting to draw a Null Rod. I did mess this game up though, because I should have just rolled out the, instead of playing the Sphere, I should have rolled out the Crucible and then tried to Sphere them the following turn through the Ancestral cards. So that was my mistake. Opponent's gone to get a Soul Guide Lantern, which they're going to cast. Eat my Strip Mine to prevent the Crucible from coming in and punishing us. We won the flip again. I think we're very much in a position where we can concede, but we'll just see what Bergamo is doing with himself. It looks like it's just a PO Tinker deck, right? It could be a Breach kill. But they've gone to get a Pithing Needle. They cast an Emerald. And they cast a Needle and likely named Wasteland. Yeah. We lost a flip. We draw a Sphere. Yeah, too excited to get my opponent off of Ancestral, and I didn't even manage to do that, and I just died. So big errors on our part, and I think we can go to the next one here. Big errors on our part. So what do I want against a PO style list? I want the rod, and I want the needle, and I want to drop the worm coil, and I want to drop the ensnaring bridge. Yeah. Do I want to drop the ensnaring bridge? Maybe I just want to keep this ensnaring bridge in, because then they can't tinker for Sphinx against me. Yeah, good. Say yes. We'll keep this hand. And I might just go Black Lotus, turn 1 Tangle. Is that good, or do I just have to fire off the turn 1 rod? Maybe I'm actually supposed to know. I think I'm supposed to just keep Black Lotus because if my rod resolves and I draw a Bazaar, then the Lotus is a good discard. I think that makes more sense. Is to hold Lotus, try and resolve Rod. And if Rod doesn't resolve, then next turn we get to play Tangle Wire and strip you. And if we draw something else, then we can Lotus. There we go. So turn 1, just throw the Haymaker at them, make them have the force of will, check them for it, don't try to sequence. Especially after last game. I think we should just play the cards that we want to play. Okay, opponent keeps 7 cards in hand. So long tank on the 7, workshop, no rod. And Norod just gets in, which is cool. I haven't got any plays to make, so it's your go. Oh, I have got plays to make, so it's not your go. Flooded Strand, Mox Pearl, back to us. Cast a Sphere. Play a Workshop, play a Tangle. And next turn, they don't have anything going on, and we have a bunch of permanents. Oh, they're going to counter the Tangle. Okay. But they have to fetch first. And not into being tangled. Force of Will pitching Repeal. Okay, so they've got some bounce in there. Turn 2, they've got an Urza's Saga, but I've got a Strip Mine. So we'll just strip the Saga. And pass the turn. That's all we can do. We haven't got anywhere to go at the moment. Continuing to hold the Lotus because it doesn't do anything. So opponent building mana, which is concerning. Mox Pearl also doesn't do anything, so I'm going to play an Ancient Tomb. I would like to draw a Bazaar. Opponent fetching, so they've got a 2-drop to play here. DT, okay. So that's probably going to be DT for Hercules. Or DT for Ancestral, I guess. I don't know. I actually have no idea. So let's play a mountain. Cast a Tangle. This will resolve, but it depends on what they've sort of DT'd for, right? So we're going to get all of their permanents here. But if they DT'd for Ancestral, they're going to get 3 cards on the way through. I would like to draw a Crucible. I'd like to draw a Smokestack. Oh no, everything just gets through. All their permanents are tapped. They've got a Flooded Strand. So they've just drawn infinite lands, which is quite sad, really. We tap our non-land permanents. They've got 4 cards in hand. We draw an Urza's Saga, which is at least going to do something. If we get to, right? Because they have got a million lands in play, which just makes it tough for us to achieve anything. Or tough for us to prevent them from achieving anything, basically. In what appears to be a 4-colour Tinker deck. So I fade and then tap, although it doesn't really matter for us here. I draw a Bazaar. So I will play, and if I activate, then they get to flash in a Hull Breacher. No, they don't. There's a Sphere in play, so I can activate this, and I can play a Welder. But if I play a Welder, then I can't activate my Urza's Saga, so I guess I can't play a Welder. So we'll just hang fire here then. They Ancestral themselves, that's probably what they DT'd for. Although then, wouldn't they have cast that on upkeep? Or were they concerned at the time for... Were they concerned about the amount of cards they'd have in hand? They've got an Academy, that only taps for 1 at the moment. They might just cast a bunch of Mox in here then, to ramp up the Academy. Okay, so 3 mana, cast a Merchant Scroll. Merchant gets Hercules. Okay, so we need to draw something here that's actually relevant and good. I'm still going to create a token. It's a 4/4. They can't cast that Hercules at the moment. So I do get this turn to screw around with. Let's see what we draw. They're going to fetch now. If he's got a plow or something for our token. I guess I do not create another token because I know I'm getting Hercled. And this will allow me to develop a Welder. So I'm probably just going to play a Welder, then play a Crucible, and then strip them. I'll get Soul Ring, I presume. Soul Ring seems like the best one here. So let's cast a Welder then. And then we'll cast a Crucible of Worlds. Do I want to replay Strip or do I want to replay Saga? I guess replay Strip. They're forcing the Crucible, pitching a Sphinx of the Steel Wind. Okay. Do we want to flip a Bazaar? Do I get anything from that? I get more options in my graveyard. And I get... Yeah, that's it. I'm just going to flip the Bazaar, I think. Tangle Wire and Sphere. Okay. So we'll attack them for 5, knowing that they've got the Hercules in hand. They get tangled for 1, so that'll just be the Mox Pearl, I presume. And we know we're up against their recall draw. So they're just recalling me now, which is interesting. That leaves them with 4 cards in hand. So maybe this is a Tinker into a Bolus's Citadel. So they've just pitched a Sphinx, right? So, okay, so House resolves. And they've got a Mentor on top. That's savage. And that's going to make loads of tokens. Bolt the Welder. which means I can't weld out the house going forwards. And then pass to me. Okay. So then it's my turn. And I can do what? They've got 3 cards in hand. I can play a Soul Ring. How much am I taking next turn? Well, we don't know, right? They've got a house and a lot of mana. And then I'll play... Well, I guess I'll tap this mana as well. Play the Rod. And now I'll cast the Monument to Endurance. And hope they don't have a Force of Will. They do have a Force of Will on the top of their deck as well. Gross. The reason I didn't Sphere first was I thought the Rod would get the thing. Okay, so I guess I still Bazaar here. I get another Monument, so let's just resolve that and put them on a 1-turn clock. I need to die this turn, Bergamo. You'll go. I'm at 18. Good luck. They've got 4 attackers though, so it doesn't take too many spells from this spot. Yeah, I didn't Sphere first because I wanted options on my... Bazaar, and I thought the Rod was a good enough appeal. But maybe I'm supposed to play the Sphere first. Either way, they were getting this turn right. The Monument dealt 5 instead of 3. Oh, and they've got a walk. Okay, so we lose. Yeah, I think this game was probably winnable in both of them if I sequenced differently. But Bergamo just drew too many lands for us this game, and we were a bit too slow getting to the party. So, good games, and we'll go for round 3. Okie dokie then, round 3, we're up against Wessel, who's been on shops himself recently. They are on the play. What have we got? We've got turn 1 Crucible, which isn't great. They've got a Workshop and a Crucible of their own. Okay. And a Ruby, and that's it. Okay. Cool. So I can play turn 1 Khan, which I think is what I'll do. What's in my sideboard? Ensnaring Bridge, Metamorph, Tormod's Crypt, Pithing Needle. Just get the Lattice now and try and go for it all. Academy or Tomb? I guess Tomb is better. So we play Khan. And do we plus to kill your Ruby? There's no point really, I can just go and get something. If I get the Lattice and then next turn I can get Metamorph to copy and block their Nettle Cyst with. So if I get the Lattice and it works, then I win next turn. Oh no, maybe I just get the Metamorph then. So yeah, so I get Metamorph now, because I can always cast that next turn. And then I can respond to what they do. And if I've still got access to 6 mana next turn, I just get the Lattice and win on the spot. But any creature they present to challenge my Khan, I now have a blocker for. Stonecoil Serpent, I don't have a blocker for. Okay. So now I have to get the bridge, which is regretful, but it's fine. So I can choose an artifact card in my graveyard, in my sideboard, and I will do that, and I'll get Ensnaring Bridge. Now I'll cast an Ensnaring Bridge. Does that even stop? Yeah, I can't attack. And then I go Academy. 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. Academy, cast a Crucible of Worlds. I've got 4 cards in hand and you've got a 5/5 in play. And then I can build back up to the lattice over the coming turns. And I've got Bizarre Crucible going, which is a combination. Well, actually, I've got a Saga as well, but I can't attack, so what's the point? They've got a Mystic Forge, so they're going to get to play loads of things off the top of their deck if they want to, and if they've got the mana to. But they can't filter with the Forge. So we'll just kill the Ruby, because I need to go up anyway. Now we'll cast a Jet, and I'll cast a Metamorph on there. Mystic Forge, that looks pretty good. There's a Crucible of Worlds on top of my deck. Not too interested in that, so am I gonna pay a life or am I gonna flip through the Bazaar? I'm gonna play a Bazaar and activate it first. And I get the Monument, so we'll discard these cards. And on top of our deck there's another Monument, so we'll cast a Monument off the top. And then we'll cast a Monument from hand. And we'll exile a mountain. And we've got another Bazaar of Baghdad. Cool. Your go. You can't attack me. I've got a Khan ticking up. And you're taking a bunch of damage next turn. 6. And I get 2 treasures and 2 cards. And I've got a Mystic Forge going. I think we could be gaming here. I mean, I had a pretty nutty opener, I'm not going to argue with you, but Monument to Endurance. I don't know why we've built a Monument to Endurance, and I don't know why I can't pitch cast it, and why there's no graveyard hate effects on it, but it combos with Bazaar quite nicely, so we're here for it, you know? Okay, opponent thinking. I'm not sure what their outs look like in this spot. You're dead in a couple of turns. Everything's painful. I'm probably just going to take this Bazaar as a draw step, because then I get full value off 2 monuments. If I flip Upkeep to get rid of the Bazaar, then I miss out on treasure tokens. Opponent draws for the turn, and they play a Golos, which is fine. I think it's going to be hard for me to have 3 cards in hand. I've got up to 3 Bazaar of Baghdad's available. Let's see what they tutor here for. They tutor for a concession, which is quite cool. We win. We didn't get to trigger the monument, but you know, the monument was clearly going to end the game. What do we want against them then? I want the Metamorphs in my deck because I want to copy their prison pieces. I want Needle probably. 12 prob. Creatures entering the abilities don't cause triggers to it. No, sorry, fine without that. Is it worth having the bridge inside the deck, or bridge in the deck, or not in the deck? I don't know. I think I just bring in the worm coils and the needles, and then drop all of the sphere effects, especially seeing some on the draw. And then do I want rods in or rods out? So I could just play an ensnaring bridge in the main deck and drop one of the rods, and I think that's better. Tabernacle in? I don't think so. I mean, that can tax their mana actually, and then I just drop another rod. No, I don't believe in that. Okay. Cool stuff. We're on the draw again, but we did break serve there by winning 1 on the draw against shops. I know we are also shops, but so turn 1 Tangle. No. Turn 1 Monument. Opponent has a Lotus. Not in love. Not in love. Ghost Quarter. Okay. Khan the Great Creator of their own. Okay, that's a problem. What do they tutor for? 2 games dominated by Khan the Great Creator here. They get a Needle. Do they have more fast mana? I think I might just go turn 1 Bazaar here. Is that true? My Mox Jet's dead. I kind of want to Bazaar to 3 mana lands. You Bazaar me. I Bazaar, I draw 3 cards. I discard Mox Jet, 1 Tangle Wire, and something else. Or I could just wasteland their Ghost Quarter. But then they're going to need all my Bazaar, or they're going to Ghost Quarter my Bazaar. The idea is if they Ghost Quarter my Bazaar, I get a mountain. I'm going to play Bazaar, and I'm going to go that way. I draw a Workshop, so I can discard Jet, Tangle, Wasteland. No, City. Discard City, keep the Wastes. I've got access to the City not next turn, but the following turn if I want it. The idea here is that they... Oh, maybe I should have discarded the Wasteland to show them Wasteland, so that then that encourages them to needle the waste. They'll just name Bazaar here now. They choose Bazaar. They play a Wasteland. They tick up Khan. So I can Tangle you, but then I've got to resolve Crucible here before I start getting wasted. And then pass. Maybe the Tangle's supposed to come out as well, but I'm just running out of cards to bring in. Like, I really don't think I want the Rods in my deck. I don't want the Spheres in my deck. Torpor counters Golos. That's a Patchwork Automaton into a Mana Crypt. Mana Crypt makes another Patchwork. Okay. And then they're tutoring with Khan and getting the Aether Spark. Legendary Artifact Equipment. That looks like I'm going to die to it. Smokestack is a bit rough here. So it's Wasteland your Wasteland. And then Tangle you. To keep the Aether Spark out of play is the idea. And then we're going to have to try and get... the smokestack rolling as fast and as high as possible, right? So they keep the crypt, so maybe they've got an Ancient Tomb in hand or something. You play a Sapphire, which pumps their guys. I think we're losing this. I think we're too far behind. The turn 1 Khan killing our Jet, and then I think I might have misplayed turn 1 in developing the Bazaar into a known needle. And they play a Nettle Cyst, which is yet another double permanent. I'm just taking so much damage next turn, I need to draw the bridge off the top. So I fade then Tangle, and I can tap Bazaar, Crucible, Tangle and not actually be affected by it, which is nice. Wasteland, City, Wasteland, play a Smokestack, none of this looks good. Next turn I'm on 20, I take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 when they play the Aether Spark. This pumps as well from the Aether Spark. So that's 17, the Aether Spark does +1, so that's 18. So I just am dead. Okay. Okay. Beginneth the boarding. Do I want rods? Do I want rods in play? No. I like how I'm built and I'm on the play this time as well. Tangles and Smokestacks are questionable. But I think everything else is worse. Obviously we're not allowed to sideboard Monument at all. That's just against the rules. It's also like the only way I can finish a game. Although actually I bought in Workshop, didn't I? This hand has got 2 basic mountains in it, so I'm going to mulligan because I think that's far too slow. Workshop. workshop crucible. Yeah, I think that's the start that we make. Keep this. Bottoming mana vault. I don't need mana vault at all, do I? And then we just go workshop crucible go and hope that their hand's not very good. And then we can turn 2 tangle if we want to, but I don't know if that's good either. Really just need to top deck that Bazaar of Baghdad card, I think. Turn 2 Bazaar would make this hand roll, and it would be cool. Okay, opponent has Jet. Lotus again. That's rough. They just wanted it more, you know. And they've got a Wasteland. Thorn of Amethyst is interesting. I didn't realise that would be part of the game. We'll play a basic mountain and a tangle wire just to buy their turn. And this way, if they waste me, I can still develop my workshop next turn. All their permanents get tapped. And if they miss a land drop, or if they miss a play, they've got an academy. Well, it's dying, so that's cool. So Ruby and a Needle. Needle probably names Wasteland in this spot. Names Bazaar of Baghdad. So I fade. Okay. We draw another Crucible, but we're just going to Wasteland that Academy and hope that their final card in hand isn't good. They get tangled for 3 permanents, and I would like to draw Null Rod. Okay, so we get tangled for 2 here. Opponent's got 2 cards in hand. And we just need to draw something relevant. Mox Jet, I guess, counts as slightly relevant. Cast a Crucible of Worlds. Play a Wasteland from the yard. Pass for your turn and let my Tangle resolve, and then Wasteland you. And then they waste our workshop, and I think that's all fine. They've got 3 cards, and allegedly none of them are castable. Alright, here we go. Lotus is gone, Khan the Great Creator. That's a beat. Oh god. Oh no, they've got a Thorn in place, so they can't get like a Tormod's Crypt or something here. And like all of my pressure is like Goblin Welder. I guess I win a smokestack battle if I'm fast enough with it. They just go to the sky. So we'll fade a little, just like our chances of winning, and then Tangle can be tapped. Metamorph. What can I metamorph? Literal nothing. I can metamorph a Tangle actually. That might buy us the time that we're kind of in the market for. Because I can't metamorph Khan. I guess metamorphing Tangle's the best I've got to try and draw some cards. Like, this isn't the most exciting play, but if we consider it a draw 2 or something like that, then it's actually kind of real. Opponent taps 5 this turn. Yeah, they can do stuff with Khan. Yeah, they can whatever, but we're just trying to walk them once or twice, hamper them once or twice. Any lands they play will immediately die. Drawing one of our 2 rods. I don't feel like I wanted the rods in, but if I draw one of them now, I've got 2 in there still. If we were to draw the one, then the game like kind of blows open, right? Both players are under a rod at that point, and all of their permanents are, all their mana sources are artifacts at the moment. So opponent goes down on Khan. Probably not the best way to say that. Opponent activates Khan's -2 ability. And they're having a look. And they get Stonecoil Serpent. They're bored of this game. Let's get it over with. Cool. Respect the approach. We're going to fade twice and then tangle. So this tangle wire stays in play though, which is quite cool. So I just have to tangle 3. Say okay. We draw another Crucible. That's really not actually what I'm after. So let's play a Wasteland. Wasteland your workshop. Develop a Monument, because why not? I'm not very good at drawing cards at the moment, discarding cards at the moment though. I didn't really... I'm sure there's better ways of, or not better, but other ways of discarding cards as well. Like, in red there's a Scrapwork Mutt, but if you're trying to lock people out of a game, you have really like limited deck space. After you're like, I need 20 lands, I need some Bazaars, I need X Monuments, Crucibles, Spheres, Trinosphere. You've not got many cards to work with there. I went Tanglewire Smokestacks because it's dope, and Goblin Welder. But maybe there's a line where you can have a lot of like Scrapwork Mutt and stuff like that to keep the triggers going. So opponent finds a Grafdigger's Cage. Sure. Plays a Ghost Quarter. Plays a Cage. I fade and then tangle. And then I play Wasteland from the bin, and I top decked an Ensnaring Bridge. So I'll just roll that one out because that's going to keep us alive for a long time. And I do want to develop this other monument. If opponent bought in Dismembers, there's lines where they can activate my bridge and then dismember it. Creature cards and graveyards can't enter, and players can't cast spells. So my welders are still live. I can swap their Stonecoil for their Black Lotus sort of thing. And I can swap their Pithing Needle for their Lotus to turn on my Bazaars. I don't have a Bazaar, but you get the idea. So welders are a good live draw. Cage wakes up and gets in for 1. I fade and then tap the Tangle. Cast a Mox. Cast a Monument. The Cage will be able to bink me again. And hopefully next turn we draw a land or something, or a welder. They have a Strip Mine. A 4 mana play, which could just be a 3 mana play here. No, they've got a no mana play. Okay. It's a Metamorph. Copying Crucible, I would imagine. Yeah. So now no one can get strip locked. Cage wakes up. Cage puts me to 13. Null Rod. Yes, please. Can't cast the Crucible. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to wasteland them, but hey ho, I didn't. That was just a free bit of value I missed out on there. So if our opponent can get to 6 mana, one line they've got is get the Lattice, pause the game, and at some point I draw up with Stonecoil, draw up above Stonecoil. They kill my Mox Pearl. They strip my workshop. They play a strip. They strip my mountain. And then they go to my wasteland and I get a mountain. So my Tangle Wire dies. It's better for me to play Workshop from hand, right? And then roll out a Crucible. Now they've given up all their mana. Although they get to play Academy, so they haven't given up all their mana. They get 7 mana a turn. They play Patchwork and the Aether Spark. The Aether Spark can't do anything because it's an artifact. They plus Karn. I think the game plan here has just got to be get Lattice right for our opponent. I draw a Metamorph. So I also can't attach. Well, I can't copy that anyway. I can copy a Patchwork. So I guess I do that. Copy your Patchwork. Wasteland your Academy. And pass. Nothing can attack. But I also don't know how I ever win. Maybe our opponent just doesn't play the Lattice. So they get the Academy, which means they get 50 mana. They activate Karn. And they get Trinosphere, which is absolutely fine. And they cast Golos. Okay. What's in my deck? I don't have the Tabernacle. They get an Inventor's Fair. And they play some cards. They play a Null Rod of their own. I get to draw a card. Lotus. So I have to cast that. I get to pump my Patchwork. I guess I still Wasteland your Academy. And pass. Ensnaring Bridge doing the Lord's work. But I genuinely don't know how I convert this game from here. I think it's got to be like top deck Smokestack, and then just take Smokestack to the sky and restart the game somehow. But my opponent's going to out-permanent me. I've got to waste lock them every turn. They get to tutor every turn with Inventor's Fair. I don't know. They reveal a Pithing Needle, which they're going to put on Wasteland. Yeah. Or a card that begins with W. I'm not reading that. But that now means I have to develop my Workshop. Or I can just strip mine them. That's funny. Cool draw. I've got no Graveyard Hate. I don't have a Tabernacle in my deck. The reason I'm saying Tabernacle is if I get Tabernacle somehow into play, I can then kill their Academy and all their creatures die. My Workshop's in the graveyard. No one can attack. My Lotus is dead. I get a Tangle Wire, which I play just to empty cards out my hand. Opponent selects some permanents at random. They all get tapped. They've got 3 cards in hand. They get a Strip Mine. They Strip Mine my Workshop. They activated a Karn. Tangle goes off. We select some random cards as well. The only card in the battlefield that they can't select really is Trinosphere, because that turns off the sphere. I play a workshop, and this is a problematic draw for me, because I can't cast that Wormcoil Engine until I draw Academy. Or our opponent gives up on stripping for a turn. One of the two. They play an Academy. So I'll play the Wormcoil next turn. Although they do have 14 mana, which is tough. They get a Golos. Golos for Bog would be funny. Paducah Bog to exile all my lands. And then... what? No, I don't know. They get a Ghost Quarter. Okay. Well, that's fine. Then they play a Nettle Cyst, which is something it won't be able to attack. They plus Khan. And it's my turn. I tap some monuments. And draw. I draw an Ensnaring Bridge. But I think I'll just deploy the Wormcoil, because I want that one out of my hand before the strip lock comes in. Tangle goes off. Opponent clicks some buttons. They play an Inventor's Fair from the yard, which means they get to tutor again. And they get a Phyrexian Metamorph. What do you metamorph? Metamorph the Wormcoil? Metamorph with Pithing Needle? What does Pithing Needle name? I don't know. Strip Mine. Okay, they Ghost Quarter a workshop of mine and I get a mountain into play. Khan activates the -2 and they get a Wormcoil Engine, which none of this deals with the fact that I have an Ensnaring Bridge. My opponent's got less cards than us, so we're going to win on decking. Which appears to be where this game is going. I get to play an Ensnaring Bridge. Patchwork goes up. I get to play a workshop. No, fuck up. Okay, that's fine. Looks like they've got a Trinosphere. I don't think that matters though. Because I'm going to get to play a mountain from the yard next turn and play a welder. Well, it does matter because then I'm going to gradually strand cards in hand. But they can't really attack with a 1/1 right now, you know. They get Inventor's Fair from the yard. They've got 17 blue mana off their Academy. I'm not feeling like they have great outs to get out from under the bridge here. I thought plus with Khan, Dismember, Slay was like a line. But it doesn't appear to be. And I also thought Lattice to kill my lands, but they also appear to not have a Lattice. So they get a Caracas and a Sphere of Resistance. Sphere's a bit annoying because that's going to lock my... well, no, I won't lock my welder. I've got a mountain. Khan activates. No one knows why. Cards fade. I draw. I play a mountain. I cast a Goblin Welder for 3. I cast a Smokestack for 6. Patchwork pumps, your go. Opponent concedes the match. We are victorious. We have welders, we have smokestacks. They don't have another Pithing Needle by the looks of things. So that was cool. Fun match. Felt like I was behind the whole time. Obviously, the bridges did a lot of work. I haven't registered Dismember either, but a lot of people do register Dismember. And then if they don't have a lattice, the lattice would have also won that game. Because back when it was just the board was merely Karn, Stone Coil, Ensnaring Bridge, the lattice locks down the board, I can't play a spell again, and I was at 13 or 14, so the Stone Coil is going to kill me before I start discarding cards to monuments. So, yeah, 2-1 after 3 rounds. That was a marathon one, but as I said, we're here for a long time. So, let's go to round 4. Okie dokie, round 4, we're up against Kabloom. Kabloom has revealed a Lurrus of the Dream Den. Hopefully that's the only Lurrus we ever see. So, I do want it there because otherwise I'll forget it exists. My hand is dope, so I'm going to keep it. Turn 1, Workshop, play Soul Ring, get Soul Ring countered, play Sphere. If Soul Ring doesn't get countered, then I'll have 4 mana, and I can cast Trinisphere instead. Opponent's taken a mulligan to 6. One thing to be careful of is people do aggressively mulligan to wastelands against me. Because I always have Bazaar of Baghdad, right? Okay, this is not a normal Lurrus list, so it looks like a PO Lurrus. It looks like a play draw was a big deal. Although they've only got 3 cards in hand now, 4 cards after the draw step. A Thunder Trap Trainer. So they've got a 1-2, which is like an Augur of Bolas on crack. And let's see what they reveal. They reveal a Force of Negation. Okay, well, oops, I didn't mean to dismiss it, but it's gone now. So we'll go Ruby, Soul Ring, Sphere, make them use the Force, and then hit them in the face with the Trinisphere. Kablam. Pitching a Snapcaster Mage. Crunch. I mean, if they pitch cast another Force here, it's fine, right? Because they've got 2 cards, so they'd be on 1 card going into their next draw step with a 1-1 in play, or a 1-2 in play, sorry. So I'm not too stressed about where we're at. Opponent attacks for 1. Youch. We're going to untap with 6 mana. If they've made a land drop, they get to buy Lurrus. They haven't made a land drop. I draw a Tangle, that's pretty sick. So let's go Ancient Tomb first so we don't get Spell Pierced. Cast a Tangle. I can't get Spell Pierced. They have a Trinisphere. Oh well. Tangle you. And then I guess I just play a Sphere, right? Sphere or Monument. Let's play the Monument. Play the cool cards. Don't tap your Trinisphere in your upkeep. That's the main thing we need to really focus on here, is not tapping Trinisphere in upkeep. Right, across to the opponent. Opponent gets to tap all their permanents. Yep, cool. So Tangle resolves. Opponent's on 4 cards. It's our turn. Tangle fades away. We discard. We tap Tangle, Monument, Ruby. We draw a Wormcoil Engine. That's our main deck, Wormcoil. And we just get to dump that nerd into play. Pretty sick. Your go. I don't have an Ensnaring Bridge in play for a change. All of our opponent's permanents tap again. And bear in mind, our opponent can still not cast a spell. Now they can. Well, next turn. So fade away, fade away. And then, sure, play some cards. I've got a Thorn of Amethyst. I've got a Sphere of Resistance. Oh, I didn't need to tap that. I thought I did. I win. That was fun. So they look like a PO build, so I think the extra rod is going to be pretty sick here. Do I want anything else? What am I dropping for the rod? Probably just the worm coil. I don't want the game to end. Okay, so that's roughly where I'm coming from there. I think that's fine. Do I want needle? What would I be needling? Time vault, key. That seems to make sense to me. I want 4 rods. I want 3 smokestacks. Ensnaring bridge. Probably loose. I've got a car and I can get a bridge if I need it. Okay, Kabloom's on the play again, which is unfortunate. But I got turn 1 sphere, turn 1 rod. Presuming the sphere gets countered, you know. But it might actually just be sphere into sphere. Because that way the rod's cooking. Next turn, I don't know. I'm going to keep this though. Opponent takes a mulligan to 6, casts a Gitaxian Probe, knows the joke. Plays a Flooded Strand. Plays a Mox Opal. Passes. I play a Ruby. And a Workshop, and then I develop a Sphere of Resistance. And that just resolves. So it's our opponent's turn. Because I can't cast the Thorn now. Or the Rod. Next turn I can do both, and I can try and wall up as much as possible before developing a Null Rod. The opponent can obviously have portable holes in their list. Probably do. Polluted Delta. Back to us. So let's go. So if I go Ancient Tomb, no, because I could just. I think I just develop Mountain and cast Tangle then. Cast a Tangle Wire. And I should have done that off of a tomb actually, because then I would have 3 mana left over, right? I don't know. Right, opponent taps all their permanents. That's the key. It's the key we were going for there. And now with all of their tapped permanents, we can resolve our Null Rod, which is going to kill a large part of their game plan. So they're under a tangle, they're under a rod, they're under double sphere. It's a long way home for our opponent from here. But this is the way out, is just to keep making land drops as well. So we're going to tap Tangle and Thorn, or Sphere, because that's the one I clicked on. And we draw a Wasteland. The Wasteland seems a bit hard to give up, to be honest with you. Kill your Delta, I guess. Back to the opponent. Back to us. Tangle Wire fades. We draw an Ancient Tomb. This means we can now develop a Bazaar of Baghdad and look for something good. We get a Crucible of Worlds. Pop that one into play. Over to the opponent. And now they're strip locked. Yeah, and we win the game. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Opponent just came along for a ride there. That was fun. Didn't get to monument them. Have we triggered a monument yet today? I don't know if we have. Someone conceded to a monument, right? And then we also died after we resolved a monument. Maybe I'm just having fun with prison shops. Anyway, Final round up next. Okay, round 5. Rematch time against Kabloom. They've won the die roll again. And we have got a Tangle Stax hand, which looks cool. So we'll give this a keep. What do we lead on? What do we lead on? I guess it depends on how many permanents they put in play, right? Volcanic. Jet. Sapphire. Jesus. Buys a Lurus to hand. Okay, so I guess we tangle them. Rod. Okay. Can I bait in any sort of way? Not really. So workshop tangle waste. Oh no, I can't play Wasteland, can I? I'm an absolute clown. Funny. What if I play 2 lands? Right, you'll go. They didn't force there. All their permanents are tapped. So next time I can just go Mountain Rod. No, that doesn't work. There's Wasteland them then. Oh, I think I fucked this up. Maybe I was supposed to just lead Rod, but I wanted to bait Force with the Tangle. 3 of them. Yep, 3 of my best. City of Traitors Rod. No, I think Wasteland is better. So just waste your untapped Volcanic and it's your go. Tap all your permanents again. Tangle resolves. Opponent misses a land drop. Okay. Good news. Good news, everybody. Tangle Wire resolves. We just tap the Jet this time around. Workshop would be sick. Emerald. Emerald is sick. Yeah, cool. So we can go Emerald. Cast a Smokestack. Smokestack gets countered by Force of Will, pitching a Mental Misstep. I play a City of Traitors, I play a Null Rod. Cool, so they're back down to effectively 1 permanent. Yeah, we've killed 2 of our Moxen, but we killed 2 of theirs, so everyone's happy. Next turn, we get to develop a Bazaar of Baghdad and start gaming. Opponent cycles a Lorien revealed. And makes a land drop, okay. 3 cards in hand for the opponent, and one of them is a Lurus. And they're just digging and digging to try and find a portable hole for this Null Rod. Tangle taps itself. And we draw a Bazaar of a mountain. So we're going to activate the Bazaar and float 2. And then I probably just keep a mountain here, don't I? Cool. We draw nothing. You'll go. So opponent taps 1 permanent. They've got 2 useless Moxen. So the Tangle's not really doing much anymore. A blue mana and a blue mana makes a Merchant Scroll, which is going to get them an Ancestral. It gets them a Flame of Anor. Jesus, what does this do? Destroy target artifact. Okay, that's quite the mode. Tangle Wire. Tangle's fine, right? Tangle's about as good as it gets for me. Because then I get more looks at Wastelands before they can cast Flame of Anor. So I guess I just go Tangle and hold Mountain, so I've got discard on my Bazaar of Baghdad. They tap all of these, and our game plan is to keep them off 3 mana. They played a redundant Emerald. We fade away. That guy dies. This resolves. We draw for the turn. And we draw another rod, which is just dope. So I play no rod then. That gets in. Your Flame of Anor has no power here, I guess. Please tap some permanents. Oh no, but it's all the useless ones. I mean, they might be able to Flame of Anor snapback, Flame of Anor, something like that, but that bought a lot of time as well. We've kind of just gone runner there and not needed to activate the Bazaar. They've also missed a land drop, which keeps the flame away from us a bit longer. I tap 2 permanents. And now I can activate Bazaar of Baghdad. And just cast a Thorn. And be very aware of the fact that this can pressure my workshop as well, right? Looks like it's getting countered anyway. Yeah, so Spell Pierce. No thank you, sir. And then we pass to Kabloom. We get a bit of an activation upkeep, but I don't know what that achieves, if I'm honest with you. They tap some useless cards. So the Tangle did kind of buy us a turn there, because if they'd made the land drop, they would have shattered the Null Rod and been off to the races. Urza's Saga's horrible. So they can end step flame one of the rods, and then start making tokens. And I think we're falling behind a little bit here. Well, they're tapping lands now. Our Thundertrap Trainer, Sorcery Speed. This is their revealed zone here. Lurus and another flame. Okay, so they've got multiple Flames of Anor in the main deck. And I don't have a sphere in play. So they're going to start beating up on my Moxen. I cast Sphere of Resistance because that makes your flame cost 4. That gets through. Opponent's holding Flame, Lurus. But we're going to need to draw our Ensnaring Bridge at some point in the next couple of turns, because this Saga is going to put us in the ground quite comfortably on its own. And they've got the 4 mana if they want to start going after rods with their double flame setup. But that will prevent Saga tokens from being made if they do it now. I draw another sphere. Which I think is good enough. But then that just puts them onto Saga constructs, and now I'm going to die to the Saga constructs because I can never cast an Ensnaring Bridge. Yeah, maybe that was wrong. Maybe that was supposed to be held. Because they're going to have 2 6/6s and I'm dead in 2 turns. Yeah. Yeah, no, so I think I was supposed to hold that one and try and get something going on my Bazaar. Because now we just need a Miracle Ancient Tomb or a Miracle Soul Land of some variety into the Singleton Ensnaring Bridge. Opponent gets a Lotus, but the only thing that matters about Lotus at the moment is the fact that it's a card, a piece of paper that says artifact on it. Anyway, we are factual dead at this point because I'm under my own sphere too heavily to cast an Ensnaring Bridge even if I draw it, and I'm dead on board. Okay, cool game though. Cool game, maybe slightly misplayed. I want a Needle for Vault Key. I think I did that last time. I want the other rod. I think I did that last time. I'm not too interested in Wormcoil Engine, and I'm not too interested in something else. Ensnaring Bridge. I know Ensnaring Bridge would have saved me there, but the idea is that's not where we end up. I don't think I need Metamorphs or anything like that. So we're on the play now, which is obviously makes you a favourite. Anyway, in most formats, but in Vintage that's pronounced a bit more. Especially with workshops. And then we'll be on the draw for game 3, which is tough. I'm going to keep this hand. I guess I go Workshop, Crucible. Turn 1 Smokestack just doesn't look very good to me. They counter the Crucible, exiling a Force of Will. Now I go Sapphire, Crypt, Crucible. It's your go. Next turn, we'll get to develop a Smokestack, I presume. Depending on how many permanents they put into play. They put a Saga into play. Do you have 2 Moxen to go with it? You got a Soul Ring, okay. And a mana. Jesus. Relax, man. Okay, so this could just be a turn 1 PO and we die. I just buy Lurrus. Okay. My Mana Crypt goes off. And I win the flip. I draw a Bazaar of Baghdad, which is not very good. I feel the need to tangle my opponent here. No, I play a Bazaar, and I don't think I activate Bazaar. I think I want Selection next turn. So we tangle them, which means we're going to kill a construct. They don't have a PO, which is cool. I assume the PO would have spoken up last turn. Saga ticks up. Volcanic Island. Back to us. We fade some cards. Tangle Wire, Mana Crypt. We win the flip again. We'll tap Crucible, Tangle Wire, Sapphire. And we get another Crucible of Worlds. I'm going to activate the Bazaar. I get Thorn, Mountain, Crucible. I'm going to discard these ones. I'm going to play a Mountain. And I'm going to cast a Smokestack. And that gets through. And the stack is just going to go to the sky as fast as possible. Because I want to destroy all their permanents. We can activate Bazaar in upkeep because any lands we hit off that are free land drops, and then we just take our normal draw after we've milled 2. They create a construct token, and that's the clock, right? That's the problem. So 4 cards after their draw step, but they have to tap all their permanents now apart from 1. Looks like they're going to keep the Opal open. Their Mana Crypt goes off. And they won the flip as well. Saga dies and they get a Lotus. Or a Needle. Needle on Bazaar. Leave me without much. No, it just gets a Lotus. Triple black makes Lurrus. Lurrus can make a Lotus. Lotus taps for triple blue and dies again. And they cast Merchant Scroll, which can find them the Ancestral. Looks like... Oh, it could also find them a Hercules. Bear that in mind. Found them a Flame of Nor. Okay. Which they're going to cast straight away. They don't have a wizard, so they only get 1 mode. And then they just go after the Smokestack, I guess. This will leave opponent with only 1 card in hand, though, which gives us some hope. They've killed the Tangle. Okay. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a permanent. No. Put a soot counter. So then we sacrifice 0 permanents. We flip a mana crypt. We win the flip. We put a soot counter on our smokestack. We activate our Bazaar of Baghdad. We discard Lotus Bazaar. And we draw. We draw a Wasteland. We Wasteland our opponent's Volcanic. Absolutely. Your go. My smokestack is coming for you, buddy. You've got 1 card in hand. You get to draw a card in your draw step. They can also cast cards with Lurus, which means our smokestack is going to have to go even higher. We can't just sit here on parity of Crucible versus Lurus. Because they're bodying us for 7 a turn. They play a Mox Jet for the turn, which I don't love. Because that's 8 a turn now. So we're going to die quickly here. In they come. Crunch, crunch, I'm at 12. So soot counters on last. I'm going to flip my Bazaar. See what my land options are. Wasteland City. Okay. I sacrifice the Crypt, I guess. Because I don't really want that around when I'm getting beaten down like this. Tails, please. I lose the flip. Okay, so I'm just going to die far too quickly here. We draw for our turn. We draw an Emerald, which we can cast, and then we can Wasteland our land. They sacrifice 2 permanents. One of them comes back. They've got 1 card in hand. I think they're just going to nab me, right? I think they're just going to get me. Main phase, I get to recast something, so I take 7. And I just take 8 again. So I've just got to top deck the bridge then. Bridge or Welder. Or Tangle or something. Tangle doesn't do it. I don't know. I don't know what the outs are. They can cast Mopal from the graveyard. They didn't find another artifact, so we do get another untapped step, but that's not particularly hopeful at this stage. I'll put a soot counter on once I've sacked 2 things. I'm going to flip my Bazaar of Baghdad in response, because that's going to be one of the things I sacrifice. Khan would have been a cracker. Can't cast Khan, it wouldn't have been a cracker. So then I can sacrifice Bazaar and Emerald, I guess. And to the sky with Smokestack. Mishra's Workshop doesn't do anything. I can't cast any spells. I can't get anything I can cast from the graveyard with my Bazaars. Wasteland doesn't cut it. I'm at 1 and our opponent wins the match. Okay, that was cool. We'll concede there because I can't draw anything, right? 3 and 2 with a Mimi little Monument deck. I don't even know if we triggered a Monument actually. Maybe this didn't do anything. But I'm not going to lie to you guys. I had fun playing some Prison Shops. I didn't realise halfway through that I forgot to register Lodestone Golem. What are you going to do? Never mind. I don't know how good this little package is. In general, I played a league the other night with something similar, and I just got PO'd constantly, and lost. Like I think I played 3 rounds of a league and then dropped after it just being like just PO every game, and I lost all of them. Like 0 and 6, and I was like, oh, it doesn't exist. But I decided to try it again today. after a couple of days of thinking, and I decided I wanted to run a welder package. Maybe I need to be more threat dense. I obviously need to play Lodestone Golem. That's just ridiculous. But no, fun league all the same. 3-2, so nice little day out. And yeah, thanks for watching.